Okay, in this part we'll talk about the guided reading. By the way, this material belongs to our respectful teacher, Professor Yusuf Al-Qaidi, Sidi Mohammed bin Abdullah University, Faculty of Letters and Human Sciences, SAIS FES. Okay, here we have our course objective. This course aims at familiarizing semester 1 students with the literature through reading, understanding, and commenting on different literary works. They will therefore be introduced to the world of literature through the study of novellas, short stories, drama, and poetry at this stage. Okay, here the purpose of this course is making us as semester 1 students familiar with reading, understanding, and even making comments on some literary works. We will be introduced to the world of literature through some short stories, poems, and some novellas. Okay, they said students will learn not only to differentiate between the various literary genres, but also use specific literary terminology to analyze, discuss, and comment on literary works. Okay, in this regard, we will acquire some vocabulary which will help us analyzing, discussing, and making comments on the different literary works. Okay, here we have our syllabus. First, we will go through short story the Short Happy Life of Francis Macomber by Ernest Hemingway. Then A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Third, we will go through The Animal Farm by George Orwell, and at the end we will go through two poems, The Darkling Thrush by Thomas Hardy and Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Okay, before we jump to the first short story, let's have a look at some definitions. First, literature, according to the American Heritage Dictionary, is imaginative or creative writing, especially of recognized artistic value. Yes, as you know, literature is comprised mainly of artistic works, especially those of high and lasting value. They said that literary texts have written-based form, though they may also be spoken. Yes, the purpose of literature is to entertain and give aesthetic pleasure. The focus on the literary is on words themselves, so they are arranged in order to produce pleasing and enriching effect. Okay, in general, literature is composed of three major categories: poetry, drama, and prose. It is often defined as straightforward rather than poetic writing. When identifying a piece of writing as prose, the piece should be written in a typical straightforward manner. It will follow grammatical structures rather than a meter or verse pattern. Okay, straightforward means easy to understand. So a prose is often defined as an easy to understand writing. When identifying a piece of writing as a prose, the piece should be written in a typical, perfect way, easy to understand and simple. Okay, it will follow the grammatical structures. rather than a meter or verse pattern. Yes, a meter is a rhythm, and verse pattern, you know that poems are structured in the form of verses. Okay, while prose can be broadly defined as a straightforward writing that resembles everyday spoken word, there are generally two categories that prose can be broken into: non-fiction and fiction. Okay, they said that the prose is similar to our everyday spoken words. Okay, and we can divide prose into two categories: non-fiction and fiction. Yes, realistic and fictional prose. Fictional prose writings are pieces that are written and contain mostly facts such as autobiography, biography, essays, diaries, and journal. Yes, non-fictional prose here means something realistic, like the autobiography when the author speaks about himself, or a biography when the author speaks about someone else. An essay is a piece of writing where we discuss a specific topic. There is when we write our daily activities or emotions in a piece of paper or a notebook, okay, personal notebook or something like that. Okay, fictional prose is writing that is entirely made up by the authors, such as short stories, novels, myths, legends, fairy tales, and fables. Fables are kind of short stories, typically with the animals as characters and conveying a moral. And fairy tales, there are some children's story about imaginary beings and characters, magical lands, and okay, and intended to deceive in general, and they have fabricated plot. Okay, short stories like the Short Happy Life of Francis Macomber, novels. Yes, by the way, Animal Farm is a fable and it's a novel. Have also myths and legends. A myth in general is a historical and traditional story about supernatural beings, events, forces. Okay, legend in general is a traditional story regarded as historical but not authenticated. Okay, it's not confirmed.